Alright, this is going to be part 1 of how to permanently remove the fell fabric wrap from a strong arm, double shot, whatever, zombie strike blaster. We're going to start by taking our Dremel all up inside of here with various attachments and scuffing this up. And then we're going to reinforce these 2 posts you need to lock down your internals with some plastic, welding that in with a junk soldering iron, welding in some reinforcing plastic to keep these 2 posts safe. And we're just going to take and after that we're going to fill in the grooves on the inside where all of this is, and then we'll get back to you at part 2 with the rest of that. Okay, we've got both of the insides of these grips scuffed up and ready to go, and cleaned out with solvent. This isn't actually hand sanitizer anymore. It's this, but it's more convenient because this has a valve. But anyways, we've also got ourselves a stick of epoxy putty. This is plumber's type epoxy putty, and it works better than the JB Weld brand and is stronger and stuff. Basically, all of its properties are up by like 40% over that, so it should be better. And I got a razor blade to cut some of that off. This is a used dull one. But do be careful because it is still sharp. Even these ridges are sharp. And technically this stuff is toxic, but I won't be using gloves because I'm going to apply this to my hands, rub it around, wipe it clean with a rag, and then go use dish soap and hot water to get the rest of that off when I'm done. Because it's not a good idea to leave that on your skin. So we're going to get started on this, and then when we're done, we'll get to the part where we start removing material seriously. Okay, now to show you how to do the hard part, which is to get these into here. Get a medium-ish screwdriver. Sounds like a 1/4 inch across or something like that. And the last of the epoxy putty. Now I'm doing this on the deep side, which is the more important one, because these are the female ones that fit over these ones. These things here. And we'll we're going to take a little tiny corn kernel sized piece of putty and slide into each one of these. And hurry, because this ball of epoxy is setting up on me. And we're going to tuck that down into there, all the way to the bottom, and all the way to the outside shell. I don't know how well you can see what I'm doing here, but... And then just this amount is what you're going to have to start with until after you've removed a bunch of material, because you'll have to go back and fill it from the outside and smooth it out that way anyhow. And if you overdo this, you'll... Oh, yeah. Got Paul talking there in the background on a video. We'll get you a link to his channel on this video, because he is cool. But, I'm sure you can figure out what I'm doing. This one needs more. This epoxy putty is about too hard to work with right now. I can just barely get it in time. We work it from the down, or all the way down, and then push it to get it back up against the sides. And don't make big, huge balls of putty so that you have to work fast in order to get everything done. But that might actually be close enough to work. You can see, hopefully, that we've got epoxy putty in there, and it's wrapping up into there to about here on the inside of there. On all four corners, and everywhere that there's a wrap out here, there's epoxy putty in here. And I'm thinking that the epoxy putty here is going to be enough to support these while this is dremeled out. And we'll probably add plastic on the outside across where this wrap used to be and in line with this wood. Now, there's one other important thing you have to do before you go to grind on this, or you could do it later, is to test to make sure your internals still fit inside of your blaster. And it does. And I can tell that this epoxy putty is working because the outside of this handle is noticeably warmer where we've been working than here. But for the moment, my internals don't fit up quite right. You can see where I pressed these together before, and those other reinforcements pushed up against the epoxy putty here and left indentations. So we're going to have to remove that, carve that away a little bit, or carve these down to make them fit up flush like they used to. But I think I'll do that after I've removed the wrap on the outside. And that's going to... Like I was saying, the battery in my phone was dying. I've got it plugged into my PC here. You can see Paul working on his monster there. Can you hear me? You can't see me recording me. But anyways, in between there I took some of this, rubbed it on the hand like this, worked it around, wiped it off with the glop. And then for the screwdriver I was using to push down on the epoxy putty, we're going to clean it up a bit too. Normally for cleaning surfaces you're going to paint and stuff, use a cleaner rag than this. This rag used to be white, but I wiped away some stuff that was red that I'd been sanding on, and now this rag is white, or is red, and it looks rusty and stuff. So we'll get all the epoxy putty off of my screwdriver. Pretty much, effectively all that I care to remove right at the moment, and seal up my epoxy putty so it doesn't harden on me. One thing I've learned is to wrap the epoxy putty tubes with electrical tape, otherwise the cap will keep popping out. And that's no fun, because then your epoxy putty could get hard on you, even though there's ain't much airspace in here now. But yeah, and don't lose any lanyard loops. But we'll get back to you at our other location to remove this rapidly and smoothly and evenly and beautifully. maybe not smoothly and beautifully, but it will go off fast. So yeah, at that part. Alright, we are here at the third, final, and by far the most fun stage in how to remove the faux grip from your strong arm or any other zombie strike blaster. Although this one is specific for the Hammershot. So, what do we have here? We have a Hammershot with its grip, filled with epoxy on both sides, and a bench grinder, which is probably kind of hard for you to see because of the gigantic fluorescent lights above you. I recommend, if you're going to use one of these, use one that's bolted down. This one isn't bolted down, but that's not by my choice. So, I'm going to find a place to put you to watch. there we go. We are done at the bench grinder, and we have this wonderful mess. Got a little bit of sandpaper and not a whole lot of putty. We'll clean that up, and then we can get this inside area sorted out. It couldn't quite get in right here, but we can knock that down with a Dremel, no problem. Or, you know, you could use a file or a rasp, or forever with sandpaper. Probably carve that off with a hobby knife of some kind. But yeah, I mean, we've got burnt rolled over plastic pretty much everywhere here, but we can get that cleaned up. And yeah, we hit a few areas that we didn't intend to. So do it more slowly and more carefully than I did. Not that you could probably see what I was doing at that point anyways, but yeah, this will smooth out nice, and we'll have a very comfy, more uniform grip here, and no faux wrap. You can see we burned through here to our epoxy putty and only here, so I guess completely filling it might have been unnecessary, but it was not worth the risk. So now we know. And it's still a little high here, and that's probably going to need to be taken down more. But again, that's Dremel work. This was a lot faster to do on that bench grinder over there. So yeah, this concludes the video. With all of this being nice and ground down and ready. And maybe I'll throw in some shots of the final grip later. I'll probably have to edit the video afterwards to add that in. But alright, see you in the next one.